Tonight on CTV, a look into the Stand Up for Science rally last Friday.
Worried about cannabis regulations, Michael Rosales will bring an update on the bill.
Need a ride? Robert Sides will tell us more about e-bikes and scooters in Fort Collins.
All this and more tonight on CTV.
Good evening, Rams. My name is Adam Carlson.
And I'm Karma Robins.
We are now going to go live with Tate Paisley in Adora Park, where a gunfight occurred earlier Monday. Tate?
Good evening, I'm Tate Paisley reporting live from the Adora Park, where a traffic incident turned into a gunfight. Deputies tried to pull over a man on an off-road motorcycle when he fled onto this bike path over here. Shots were fired, injuring both the suspect and a Larimer County deputy. A K-9 unit helped to secure and subdue the suspect, who was seriously hurt and taken to the hospital. The deputy, a 27-year-old veteran, was shot in the arm and has undergone surgery. Officials say that there is no ongoing threat and that the incident is currently under investigation. But that is all I have for you this evening. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Tate. Almost 2 years after a car crash that killed 10-year-old Oliver Stratton, Amy Weiss has been sentenced. The crash took place on Saddlehorn Drive and River Pass Road in Timnath, Colorado, and was the result of distracted driving. Weiss has been charged with careless driving resulting in death and guilty of tampering with physical evidence, both with a year-long sentence that she will serve concurrently. Clarissa Stratton says, "My life has been transformed into something unrecognizable. He has died 1,000 times to me. That is the reality of the crime Mrs. Weiss committed." Weiss is appealing to the charges. As a result, the judge has delayed her sentencing till April 11th.
The body of a Denver nurse was found on Sunday afternoon after being missing for 2 weeks. Dana Elrick disappeared at a dog park in Missoula. Police believed she drowned in the Clark Fork River, but they were unable to find her body or dog for the first 2 weeks. Elrick's father, Simon, described her as a very lovely girl and that her dog was her life, and there are a few things she loved more than her dog. Police say she had been last seen on February 21st at a dog park near Montana. Simon believes Elrick jumped in or fell into the icy Clark River while chasing after her dog Bamba. Someone spotted a body in the Clark Fork River, and first responders recovered the body and confirmed it to be Elrick. Her dog Bamba has yet to be found. An online petition has been started to implement seasonal river risk signage at Jacobs Island Dog Park, as well as an online fundraiser on behalf of future search efforts for Elrick.
A fire erupted at Loveland Tesla last Friday. This is the 5th time the dealership has been hit this year with vandalism or arson. The fire came from an incendiary device that erupted in flames before being put out by an officer. Police say this event is not believed to be linked with Lucy Nelson, who was arrested for the previous 4 occasions of vandalism at the site. Loveland police are still investigating and seeking out any tips to assist their search. You can reach Loveland Police at 970-962-2032.
CSU will pause all hiring for positions that are deemed non-essential, as well as limit travel, professional development, and university-sponsored events. These budget changes are being made with growing concerns regarding funding at the university. As well, these changes are being made so that CSU can continue its mission to work on teaching, research, and service.
With a rising fear in government censorship and in defunding of science fields, nonprofit Stand Up for Science assisted in organizing 32 rallies nationwide and supported dozens more worldwide last Friday. Colorado State University was one of 3 schools in Colorado to organize a rally. The turnout of the event was around 1,000 students and community members who together marched from the Laurie Student Center, Plaza, to Old Town and back, covering 1.2 miles. Throughout the rally, there were multiple speakers and chants.
When science is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When our research is under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
This is the worst existential threat that higher education has ever faced. We need to defend ourselves against the attacks orchestrated by the Trump administration, and to do so requires a coordinated response.
While there was seemingly little to no representation from the opposition in Fort Collins, it may be seen from those wishing to lower taxes or move spending in the government elsewhere. We are going to take a quick break, but stay tuned for your weather update with Lena Juhlin.
It's so nice to reminisce on the most wholesome moments of Ramboozled. Welcome back to the season where we put the best of the best against each other to see who knows the most about a wide variety of trivia-based categories. We have so many fun plans to make this season of Ramboozled the best yet.
If you can't get enough of the humor, thrill, ridiculousness,
And me.
that you just witnessed on screen, tune into CTV Channel 11 on Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Hi Rams, my name's Lena Juhlin, here to bring you this week's weather. For our current conditions, it is 60 degrees outside. Sunset was at 7:05 p.m. and we have 19% humidity with 7-mile-per-hour winds. This week we've had more warm weather and some clear skies. Let's hope that that keeps up through the night as well, because there will be a lunar eclipse, otherwise known as a blood moon. The total eclipse will be from 12:30 a.m. until 1:30 a.m., but the effects can be seen in the night sky starting at 9 p.m. This week we also have had a hazardous weather condition alert from the National Weather Service. This entails some blizzards, strong winds, and temperature fluctuations across the state. Into our overnight lows. Along the I-25 corridor, we have those temperatures sitting right around 40 degrees. For the Eastern Plains, we have Lyman with a low of 32, but the rest of them will be around that 40. For the Western Slopes, it will be a bit cooler, with Craig and Vale being at 28 and Telluride being a low of 19. For tomorrow's forecast, you can expect some cloudy weather. The high will be 55 with a low of 30. Sunset will be at 7:06 p.m. with 33% humidity and 25-mile-per-hour winds, so stay safe out there. Looking at next week, you can expect some warmer weather up through Tuesday, with Monday being a high of 69 and a low of 36. Looking at the middle of the week next week, you can expect snow on Wednesday, with that high being 42 and a low of 23. That's all we have for weather. Back to you guys. Pakistani security forces successfully rescued almost 200 hostages from the Jafar Express train, which was hijacked by separatist militants in Baluchistan province. The incident began on Tuesday when militants from the Baluchistan Liberation Army, or BLA, attacked a train traveling from Quetta to Peshawar, detonating explosives on the tracks and seizing control during the rescue operation. 30 militants were killed, including all kidnappers. 21 civilians and 4 paramilitary officers died. The BLA demanded the release of Baloch political prisoners and threatened to kill hostages if their demands were not met. This incident highlights the ongoing security challenges in Baluchistan, a region with a history of insurgency against the Pakistani government.
Facing a potential legal battle with the International Criminal Court, or ICC, former Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte says he takes full responsibility for his administration's controversial drug war. Duterte said in a recent statement that he accepts responsibility for the anti-drug campaign that killed thousands. "I will protect you and I will be responsible for everything." The former leader acknowledges that the International Criminal Court case could be a long process, but he still believes that he was just doing his job as president. Duterte's comments come amid ongoing ICC investigations into alleged crimes against humanity while he was in office. Philippine officials have repeatedly opposed the court's jurisdiction, arguing that the country can conduct its own investigations for the time being. Duterte is preparing for what he refers to as a long legal battle ahead.
Founded in FOCO is a week-long of events that started on Monday and ended earlier today that involve small businesses, entrepreneurs, connections, and networking. On Tuesday, I attended an event during Founded in FOCO called Brain Change, a mental health talk within businesses or entrepreneurships. Brain Change is an event where a series of speakers get up on stage and talk about their experiences with mental health and business. During this event, there were 6 speakers, each having a different experience with mental health, some being positive and some being negative. Founded in FOCO brought Brain Change into existence because entrepreneurship can be lonely. So the organizers of Founded in FOCO wanted to show that you are not alone and wanted to share their stories about how they dug themselves out of the crisis that they had within their business. Many inspirational stories were shared at Brain Change. Founded in FOCO wants to show why and how this event can bring multiple connections and networking opportunities to all ages.
Students have a ton of different pressures on their plate, and you might be a part of a ton of different clubs, a ton of different environments, a lot of different classes, and really not even still feel seen or heard or have a place yet. And if that's true, then Founded in FOCO is a great place to find your people, find your crowd. It's a great place to find that one connection that really matters.
Founded in FOCO, and he has a marketing company helping small businesses build community. Peter, come on up.
All right, we're at third, yeah? So now we're at the 4th. Okay, cool.
Well, I'll try not to create too much waste.
They'll try to turn those in.
One thing that was very interesting about this event is that if you heard an idea you liked, you would put a quarter in a jar and shake it. All the money at the end of the event would be donated to suicide prevention laws. $500 were raised and donated. Brain Change was one of the many events that happened during the week during Founded in FOCO, which happens every year and is a way to get involved with the community and chat with many local businesses. This event is a chance to hear other stories and can show you that you are not alone within your mental health in a business or entrepreneurship. So Adam, do you have any businesses or that involve your mental health that you have ever worked with before?
Not really, but it sounds like this would have been a pretty cool event if you really wanted to connect with your employees and learn more about how to handle that kind of situation.
Definitely, it was really helpful, really inspiring to hear other stories.
Yeah.
Well, we will now go over to our investigative reporter, Michael Rosales, for a look into cannabis regulations in Colorado.
Earlier this week, Colorado legislative members spoke on Bill SB 2576, otherwise known as the Intoxicating Substances and Social Equity Business Bill. On Tuesday, this bill called for stricter regulations regarding the sale of cannabis in Colorado and sparked worry throughout the cannabis industry. The regulations proposed were in support of the buying age being raised to 25 for all high THC and flavored products. New THC potency restrictions would be put in place for anything over 10% THC, meaning dispensaries would now be required to have color-coded labels added to all packaging. And new quantity restrictions over single purchases. That means the amount consumers used to be able to buy at one time would be significantly lowered. The bill was proposed to address concerns about the increasing potency of cannabis products in Colorado. Lawmakers, particularly Democratic Senator Judy Amabil and Republican Senator Brian Pelton, introduced the bill in response to feedback from parents, schools, and public health advocates who are worried about the effects of high-potency marijuana on young adults. Online Fort Collins community members had their strong opinions on the introduced bill. An anonymous community member stated, "The most maddening thing about this is the political context. There are a million other issues our politicians could be working on that actually affect people's health, material lives, and pursuit of happiness. Instead, we have a bunch of disinterested people wasting thousands of man-hours trying to get our cannabis policy calibrated." Another local stated, "It feels like opening a door for someone who is very against this to come in and get super restrictive laws based on bunk math. Marijuana affects everyone differently, so a serving for someone who partakes occasionally is a lot smaller than someone who partakes regularly." But for those of you following this story closely, there is no need to panic. Your routine remains the same. We were told through Colorado Leads members that the bill has officially been dropped, keeping cannabis regulation the same and still making Colorado one of the most progressive states when it comes to laws on this plant. That is, at least for now. Cannabis regulation in Colorado is always being discussed and will continue to be a growing topic for lawmakers. I spoke with a local dispensary here in Fort Collins about on their opinion on the bill and how it might have affected dispensaries all over Colorado.
Take it in, because in Colorado, cannabis isn't just a trend, it's a way of life.
Behind a tenement court.
Marijuana, once criminalized, now a billion-dollar industry. Colorado cannabis has come a long way, but new regulations are always in the horizon. This year, lawmakers introduced SB 2576, a bill that could have changed the game.
If we're speaking about this bill, it was problematic and unnecessary because it reduced their revenue potentially by $30 million. The bill itself was unsustainable with the packaging requirements that they wanted to create, which would increase packaging costs drastically for cannabis businesses and, quite frankly, be confusing for the consumer.
But lawmakers who introduced the bill argued that it was necessary to protect the public and specifically to address concerns about youth consumption. Senator Amabile stated, "These parents just want to make sure that we're doing the best we can in terms of smart regulations. I will say I have no interest in making anything illegal or going back to prohibition. I just want us to move forward in a careful way." She continued, "There's a large group of families that have been affected in this way or similar ways. Other families whose person had cannabinoid hyperemesis, which is when you develop an allergy to marijuana and it causes you to be violently ill. We've made a lot of progress on that in the past few years. The ERs are now aware. So this is just another step along the way to make sure that we are regulating this industry in a smart way." Despite these health concerns, dispensary owners argue that the bill would hurt businesses and push consumers to the black market.
In our society, there is a certain percentage of people that choose to use cannabis. Now, do you want people using cannabis that is sold in an alley, or do you want to go into a store that is following the regulations?
For now, the bill has been dropped, but the debate over cannabis regulation is far from over. As the industry continues to evolve, lawmakers and business owners will likely continue to clash over what's best for the future of cannabis in Colorado.
The cannabis industry is an uncertain industry. It's so new, even though, it's been here for over a decade. With that being said, there is a correlation between being in the cannabis industry and just being prepared for uncertainties. Anytime something like this comes up, it's just a mobilization of all of the businesses. At the end of the day, we're all working towards the same common goal. Even though we're competitors, we still want to be able to operate as cannabis businesses.
While this bill is off the table for now, health concerns about cannabis, especially its impact on young adults, are still front and center. As lawmakers navigate these challenges, it's clear cannabis regulation will remain a hot topic in Colorado. We will continue following any changes that could affect dispensaries, consumers, and the ongoing conversation on the balance between regulation and public health. But stay tuned, because up next we have Payton Barill with our very own Sports Rundown.
After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me! Okay, no.
Robbie!
Seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon? I can do fireball, that'll do a lot of damage. Yeah, to all of us!
Well,
We're in a 4-foot group!
I'm sorry, what else do you want me to do?
Okay.
Hold on. All right. Wizard, what do you do?
Hi Rams, welcome back to Thursday Night News. I'm Payton Barill, and tonight we'll look at the Mountain West Championship Tournament, which has officially begun, and sadly for our women's team, officially ended. On Monday evening, the Rams took on the Fresno State Bulldogs in the quarterfinals and lost in a 2-point difference upset. The game was a star versus star showdown, highlighting performances from Fresno State's Mia Jacobs and CSU's Emma Ronsnick. Both players have led their teams in season stats this year. Fresno State took an early lead with 3 3-pointers in the first 2 minutes. By the end of the first half, the Bulldogs were up by 10. By the fourth quarter, the Rams were scrambling to put up points and close the gap, but struggled with only 30% of their shots falling. In the final 10 seconds of the fourth quarter, Hannah Simmental drained a 3-pointer, making it a single possession difference. Then fouled Mariah Ellaheim, taking Ellaheim to the line. She sunk both shots, continuing her perfect free throw record. Using every last second on the clock, Chloe Froby scored a final layup for the Rams, but it wasn't quite enough for a win, ending with a final score of 54-52. For the Bulldogs, Jacobs scored 20 points total and had 18 rebounds, a new career high. Earning her second double-double of the tournament, she was a force on both offense and defense. In a post-game interview, Jacobs says she's satisfied with many of the improvements we've seen from her this season. More textbook performances from Ronsnick, who had 17 points and 9 rebounds. Ronsnick has been a key player all season for the Rams and played at the same high level. Following the underdog win, Coach Amy White took the Bulldogs to the semifinals, making it the 5th of her career. Facing the Cowgirls for only the second time this season, Fresno State lost 57-45. Over on the men's side, the men's playing their first tournament game right now against Nevada. Projected lead scorer Neat Clifford just earned a Player of the Week title in addition to becoming named one of the top 5 defenders in the league. Kyan Evans also received recognition, being named as honorable mention. As that game gets ready to wrap up, we wish the Rams luck in the remainder of the tournament and the best heading into Selection Sunday. That's all for tonight, but don't go anywhere. Up next, Robert Sides will tell us about the e-bikes and scooters all across Fort Collins.
I want to get like a wig off of Sheen, bro. Do you have 0 friends because you are uninteresting?
Are all of your friends cooler than you because of the fun facts they know?
Have you or a loved one suffered from someone telling you how underground their interests are?
Fear not!
Hi, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Warner.
Here on Underground, we can help you be cool again.
Watch our show this Wednesday at 7:30 p.m.
And we promise you'll see results.
Welcome back from the break. CSU students find several ways to get from point A to point B and beyond throughout the day. But the traditional ways of walking, driving, or taking the bus may have to pull over to make some way for some new and electric vehicles hitting the pavement. We all know Transfort, Fort Collins' complimentary bus network that is a staple to many Collinites and sees hundreds of thousands of passengers with each passing year. But a new mode of transportation is gaining a foothold in Fort Collins, as well as in many other American cities, one that has students pulling the yellow cord. They're similar to the bicycles and scooters many students use, but now they've been given a new electric spin.
I've used my e-scooter for about 2 years now. One, it's quicker than walking, and it's quicker than the bus, for sure.
E-bikes and e-scooters are making their ways around campus, filling the void that the COVID-19 pandemic left in Transfort ridership. The number of monthly passengers cratered up to 55% since 2019, and many of the lost riders are turning to electric bikes and scooters. Having access to such vehicles is becoming easier with bike-sharing programs such as Spin.
It's much easier, cuts down on transportation time. Such a great trail system in Fort Collins. We have all these lovely bike lanes and connecting roads that you can get anywhere you need to on a Spin vehicle without getting into a car.
In Fort Collins, Spin vehicles see use about 600 times every day, amassing about 900 total miles. CSU and Fort Collins have expansive arrays of bike trails, which make e-bikes and e-scooters particularly attractive to students. Thanks to programs such as Spin, CSU students have accessible options to go wherever their lives may take them, as an e-vehicle may only be a few steps away. Robert Sides, CTV. Fort Collins prides itself on harboring new, effective, and energy-efficient transportation methods to Fort Collins. For more information about Transfort's Spin program, visit fcgov.com/fcmoves/spin. Now I gotta think about trying one of those e-scooters or e-bikes. What about you, Adam and Karma?
Have you never been on one?
Nope.
Oh, dude, they've saved me in some tough pinches, you know, where I don't have my car, but it's late at night and just can't take the bus. Karma, what do you think? Have you used them?
I have used a spin last year one time. My brother has an electric bike, so took that out one time. That was fun. Loved it.
It's helped me in a few pinches, but I do gotta say, I usually opt for the bus. Well, that is going to bring us to the end of our show tonight.
Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next week.